Welcome to our first Let's Play, TownCraft. If you don't already know, TownCraft is an isometric crafting, exploration and city building game for iPad. I'm Leigh Harris, the game's lead programmer, and running this short Let's Play for us, showing the first 15 minutes of the game, is Leigh Harris, the lead designer. We figured we'd do this to show people what the game is like, and for those who already have it, to give you an idea of how one of the designers tends to play when he's starting out a fresh scenario. We did this on the Australian release of TownCraft version 1.0.3, the current release at the time we made this. So, without further ado, here's Leigh showing us TownCraft.
Okay, so here we are at the TownCraft main menu, and I'm about to start a fresh game in Eden Valley. Eden Valley is the first level in the game where you are going to help try and make the King's Feast a success. So there's a lot of farming involved and a lot of baking. First things first, the first two things I always get when playing a game is some wood from a nearby tree and some stone. First thing you'll want to do, craft those two things together, create yourself a hatchet. The hatchet allows you to start logging, and then within seconds you can use your logs and your hatchet to create a woodworking table. Woodworking table being one of those incredibly useful items because it allows you to turn your wood into a bunch of different shapes. I'll usually just grab a couple of each at the very beginning. Not really enough for me to build quantities of anything, but still good. And you'll notice that I'm no longer chopping down trees. That would be because my hatchet got used up in the making of the woodworking table. So I'll rebuild my hatchet, and while I'm at it, use the wooden pole instead of the wooden stick, and I can get a pickaxe. This means that I'm now fully equipped to chop down trees and harvest any rocks that are nearby. So, first thing I'm going to want to do, now that I've got that done, is take a bit of a look around. You can see down here we have some resources. We've got some hops and some potato. Nothing but hops and potato. We have some apple and some grapes up here, which is good. And up here, hidden in the middle, is a little bit of cotton. So this looks like a really good place to start our town. So let's get started on that. Now I'm going to need a fair few trees, so I'm just going to chop my way through to everything. And it's worth bearing in mind that when you chuck down a mine shaft, it will get contents from everything that it's next to. So having four bits of iron right next to each other like this is going to make for a huge, fantastic mine. If you've got your inventory screen open, you can press and hold on a tree stump, like I'm doing here, and it gets rid of it. That'll give us somewhere to put the mine later on. And because that's going to be a really huge iron mine, I don't need to leave any other iron out. I can just grab this stuff, grab all of it, give myself some iron to start working with straight away. Ooh, hello. And that's not bad. That's silver. That's also silver. Okay, I think I found an even better spot for my mine. If I chuck it where I'm standing now, I can get a mine that's producing silver and iron at the same time. So let's chop my way down here to this coal. And the more rare items like gold and gems won't ever appear on the surface of the rocks. So the other ones, you might see those little specks that'll let you know what's there, but if you want gold and gems, you're just going to have to keep on mining rocks until you find it, or trade from a passing merchant. So I could place a mine where I am right now and get the iron and get the coal, so that's a great little area for mining. I'm going to hang on to that. And I dare say, even though there's no real space around here, this is a good place for me to put my town stockpile and make that the center of my town. Now, grapes. The very first quest in Eden Valley happens to be to try and sell 25 crops. So I'm going to go up here and harvest what I can. And being armed and dangerous with my axe, with my hatchet and pickaxe, means that I should be able to cut through anything I need to get at the resources. I'm now going to have the choice of whether I want to use these things to plant a farm, which will help me out in the long term, or if I just want to try and hang on to them. It does look like I've got enough for that 25 crop mission. So if I hang on to them, I can probably finish that mission in 2 seconds flat. But I always prefer to play the long game and get a farm started as quickly as possible. Reason being, those farms do take quite a while to grow, and if you have to go out on another bit of an explore to find more things, it's going to get a little time consuming. We've definitely got enough here that we can do a fairly decent farm for grapes, or a vineyard, I should say. And it's also going to be pretty good for an orchard. We should have plenty. Oh, and these berries just grew. That's good timing. I'll grab the berries as well. I can start a slightly smaller farm with them. Now I also grabbed some wax and some honey from a beehive just over there. I'm going to do the same thing just here by grabbing these canary eggs from the tree. Because in kind of a farm-like thing, you can get little beehives and little birdhouses that allow you to have a continuous source of wax, honey, and eggs. First things first, I'm going to need a building. So open the build menu. Let's build myself a log cabin just here. And where have I put... well, I've left my woodworking bench all the way up there, so what I might do is just build another one, because I'm lazy. And I will place it here, so I can get to it nice and easily. And what am I going to want? Let's see, I'm going to need a bunch of wooden planks, they're always good. And a few of everything else. The wooden planks are useful for a couple of things. Whenever I get a first building like this, the first thing I tend to do is use wooden planks and wooden poles to get myself a crafting table. Now the crafting table gives you three empty slots to put things in. I'll also build a furnace, and that will allow me to start manipulating all of the iron that I've just got. So, to show you what I was talking about before, honeycomb and wax with planks gives me a beehive box. I'm pretty sure there's a better name for that, but I didn't know what it was. And canary eggs with the wooden plank is your birdhouse. So these things don't need to be planted anywhere in particular, so I'm going to put them over here on the beach. Oh, there we go. And just across the road, this looks like a decent place to start my farm. Not too many trees in the way. Some turnips, which are always good. Rebuild my hatchet again. Must stop using that. Okay. I might have to wait for that little turnip in the middle to grow, but I can at least get started. Town rating increased again, that's nice. And that'll do for a grape farm. 3x3 is usually a fine number for a farm, but sometimes I'll go for 4x4. I've got so many apples here, I might as well do that. And I have a merchant next to me. How are you going, merchant? So if I click trade, I can trade with the merchant. I've already got my grape farm ready, so I'll sell him my grapes. They're not exactly worth a lot. I could sell him my silver, but silver's worth a lot more if you do something with it. So I will just sell him grapes and perhaps buy a little bit of coal. Just so I can keep my furnace fueled in the short term before I get my mines up and running. So I'm going to build a 4x4 farm here. And one of the other things that's good to do with a farm, just as a sort of preventative measure from any awkwardness with your peasant trying to get to them, is chop down any trees that are just next to your farm. With your inventory open, like I did with the mine, you press and hold on the tree stump, and just make sure there's a path going all around it. Hey, some more coal. And that will allow your peasants to get easy access to all the different areas of your farm, and they're less likely to have difficulty getting to any of the crops that are in the middle. So, we can't actually hire a peasant to start farming until we have a fence around our farm. Peasants will only farm things that are inside fences, so you need to kind of designate those areas. So let's get a bunch more wooden poles, and we should have a fair bit of iron left over from our little mining expedition. So I'll grab a whole bunch of wooden tool bits, iron tool bits I should say, and here we go. We've got 16, which is perfect for our 4x4 orchard. So let's build that fence, and that'll do us well in the near future. And that turnip's finally grown. Oh, but I think I sold all my grapes, so I'm going to make this a grape/berry farm. The only real reason why that might be a bad idea is because things will grow at different times. Some things grow faster than others and all that sort of thing. And as before, get rid of a few of these little bad boys, just to help our peasants navigate. So, as soon as these crops are grown, I can start trading them away to some merchants, use the money I make from those merchants to get myself some things I might not yet have access to. Maybe a lantern for a mine shaft, that's always a good one. We can take a look in here. You touch the mine shaft and it tells you what you're going to need for it. 1 lantern, 12 wooden planks, and 1 stone pickaxe. So that stuff's all relatively easy to come by, but I'm going to need to blast glass out of sand and get a candle and get short iron poles if I want to make my own lantern. So that'd generally be the first thing that I would go for after making a little bit of money. What I can do in the short term though, while I'm waiting for my things to grow, I can go say hi to this merchant who's doing a little dance. What have I got? I'll need a little bit more iron, so if I sell off... It's not the best thing to do to sell off silver before having made it into something, because as a raw material it's not worth that much. But if I get a little bit of iron, turn that iron into a long wooden pole or two. Fuel exhausted. If you ever want to refuel your furnace, you just drag some coal onto it like this. See, the iron tool bits with the wooden stick gives you a wooden hilt. It's like a handle for a sword. So I'll make a couple of those. Then if I craft the long poles just on their own, they turn into long blades. Long blades plus those handles is wooden swords. And that is a great first item for selling. It's easy enough to make, you can do it with some basic resources, and it'll get you a pretty penny, probably enough to hire your first couple of employees. Although one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to hire too many employees all at once, otherwise you will send your town bankrupt, so try to work within your means. Remember that what it costs to hire them is what you have to pay them every single day. And we'll leave it there for now. This is our town. Small but prosperous. And thank you for watching the Let's Play of TownCraft.